If you make a wrong turn in your car, nothing bad really happens. Assuming you don't run into oncoming traffic, you may have just added a few minutes to your commute. But if you make a wrong turn in a plane, the consequences can be far more serious. Today we're going to talk about taxiway hotspots, and we'll learn from a real-world example of how my own confusion led me to make the same type of mistake that has gotten other people killed.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. We were unfamiliar with the area, thanks.
Okay, we got our screen up, ignition A, ignition B, strobe lights on, the area is clear. Clear! Alright, chocks and tie downs, everything's removed, here we go.
Alright, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Go accept here. Then we go into Ukiah.
Visual approaches in use, landing and departing runway 20. Practice approaches unavailable. Runway 1230 closed. Use caution for birds in the vicinity of the airport. Advise on initial contact you have information Zulu. Sacramento Executive Airport Information Zulu 2053 Zulu observation. Wind calm, visibility 10, sky clear. Temperature 29er, dew point 11, altimeter 29er85. Visual approaches in use,
Alright.
landing and departing.
That's a nice easy one. Ground is going to be on 125.0, we'll switch over there, and we'll have tower up and ready on 119.5, that's good. And we'll just go ahead and call up for taxi here from the self-serve fuel pump. See if we can get flight following as well. I'm just going to spin around out of this area real quick. Sacramento ground, experimental 612 Victor Alpha is over at the self-serve fuel pump. Information Zulu, we're ready for taxi and we'd like flight following to Ukiah if possible.
November 706 Victor Alpha, executive ground standby on request.
Okay, and it's 612 Victor Alpha at the fuel pump. I have a feeling that was me, but you know, it could be another aircraft out there if so.
November 612 Victor Alpha, runway 20, taxi via Bravo, Mike, cross runway 12 at Mike.
Okay, runway 20 via Bravo, Mike, cross 12 at Mike, 612 Victor Alpha.
So let's take a look at that taxi instruction a little closer. Here we have the airport diagram for Sacramento Executive Airport. I'm gonna draw out the taxi clearance that was given to us. We were told to taxi to runway 20 via taxiways Bravo and Mike, crossing runway 12 on Mike.
So Bravo, Mike, Bravo is out this way.
So far we're off to a pretty good start. We got the aircraft pointed in the right direction and we are on a yellow taxiway line. At this point I'm looking outside to try to identify taxiway Bravo. Real quick, let's go back to the airport diagram. If we zoom into taxiways Alpha and Bravo, you'll notice that there's a brown circle surrounding those taxiways with a label stating them as HS1. Now visually, by just seeing this, it's a good clue that something confusing happens here.
And this is going to be hotel here. Kind of a confusing layout at Sacramento, and you know, it's hard because I'm not familiar with it, but just gotta follow the signs and the diagram.
November 2 Victor Alpha, taxi via Alpha, Mike, cross runway 12.
Alpha, Mike, cross 12 to Victor Alpha.
And just about here, I realized my mistake. I completely missed taxiway Bravo. I was on taxiway Alpha.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. We were unfamiliar with the area, thanks.
No worries.
So let's go back and figure out what that hotspot actually means. Now you can easily find hotspot information in section 5 of the chart supplement, but like with most things, it's much more easier to do it on ForeFlight. We're gonna go to the procedures tab and click on hotspot, which is gonna take us directly to the document we need to be viewing. The first thing you'll notice is a definition of what a hotspot actually is. Basically, a hotspot denotes where there's increased risk of confusion regarding taxiways or runways and their intersections. It can be caused for a number of reasons, such as weird airport layouts, strange airport markings and signage, or just an area where increased situational awareness is required. In general, the area has some kind of history associated with it where pilots just find it confusing, and this information is provided to us by the FAA. If we scroll down and look at the information for Hotspot 1 at Sacramento Executive Airport, we can see that they want inbound traffic to proceed on taxiway Alpha, and they want outbound traffic to go on taxiway Bravo. Now, because we were outbound traffic, I should have been looking for taxiway Bravo and really making sure that I was on that south side of the taxiway complex before proceeding on to Mike. But now circling back, can we pinpoint exactly where I went wrong? Well, yeah, we can. There are 3 diverging taxiway lines when you get to this point on the ground. One of them leads to taxiway Bravo. This is the route that I followed, and this is the route that I should have taken. I was following the wrong line.
Yeah, so it looks like
Bravo, Ground Piper 44996, straight hangars at Zulu, taxi runway.
Bravo and Mike are like right next to each other, and it looks like I went on Mike, or I went on Bravo, or Alpha. I went on Alpha.
Runway 12 at Charlie to runway 20, Piper 44996.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can just be kind of difficult like that, but, you know, I should have briefed that a little bit better.
Alright,
Coming up to runway 12, this runway is closed, but we'll still check left and check right.
Now, my mess up here wasn't as big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but this is the same type of mistake that has caused chaos in the past. And I wanted to give you all an insight into what a pilot might be thinking as an incident like this happens. Accidents like the Linate airport disaster in Milan show just how critical taxiing near the runway environment is. 2 aircraft collided in dense fog after one of them got lost on the taxiway, and instead of taxiing around to the other side of the ramp, they taxied onto the active runway. Multiple other factors were involved, including obscured guidance signs, a lack of signage altogether, negligence on the part of the air traffic controllers, and the deactivation of the runway incursion alarm system to prevent false alarms. All of those things came together to cause the accident in 2001, but the thing about aviation is we always try to learn from our mistakes, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. That aircraft accident, as well as others, have fundamentally changed the way that we handle getting aircraft from the ramp to the runway, and we now have systems in place such as the hotspot identification system to help pilots on the ramp.
Gonna come down to the end here, complete our run up, and then we'll be on our way. Hopefully they get us with flight following.
November 612 Victor Alpha, clear to Ukiah Airport on departure, correction. November 612 Victor Alpha, on departure, turn right heading 280. Departure frequency 125.25, squawk 4556.
Okay, on departure, right turn heading 280 and 4556 for the squawk. November 612 Victor Alpha. Four 556 is that.
Everybody else in the run-up, give way to the Saratoga. They're at number 1. They're taxiing out now.
612 Victor Alpha, holding short 20. You want us to give way as well?
Just stand by. Saratoga 65 Romeo, you able to get around them or no?
Affirmative, I can just go right around here.
Roger. November 612 Victor Alpha, Executive Tower, hold short, runway 20.
Hold short 20 to Victor Alpha.
November 763, I'll call you base.
You got my base, 763.
November 612 Victor Alpha, runway 20, close to takeoff, fly runway heading.
Victor Alpha, runway 20, fly runway heading to Victor Alpha. Alright, so we got a change right there.
Saratoga 65 Romeo, traffic ahead and to your right.
It's going to be runway heading
Skyhawk,
instead of a right
report
turn.
in sight.
So we'll line up, I'll sync the heading bug, and then we'll be good to go. Canopy is
flashed. Romeo, they're patching off your right wing now at 900 feet.
Traffic in sight, this is Romeo.
Alright, we'll line up,
November 65
sync
Romeo,
the
right
heading bug.
down to follow them.
Power's coming in. Power set.
We'll go into right down one, following them. Start Romeo.
November 763, left base, your discretion, runway 20, clear to land.
Runway 20, clear to land for 763, base our discretion.
Tower 1, clear north. Tower 1, 310 for the Sir Turkey 65 Romeo, you got that traffic ahead into your right in sight?
Affirmative, 65 Romeo. We'll go flight director, heading mode. Please, laptop.
RV2 Victor Alpha, turn right heading 280.
Heading 280, RV2 Victor Alpha. Knockout departure, RV612 Victor Alpha is climbing 2,200 for 65 via part of Ukiah.
RV612 Victor Alpha, northbound departure, radar contact, beginner altitude and cruise altitude.
2,500 now for 6,500.
It was 2 Victor Alpha, roger. On course to cruise altitude, your discretion.
On course and altitude, our discretion to Victor Alpha, thank you. Traffic approach, RV612 Victor Alpha, 4,300, climbing 6,500.
RV612 Victor Alpha, chops approach, chops altitude 2984.
2984, RV2 Victor Alpha.
2 Victor Alpha, say again, altitude climbing to?
Climbing at 6,500, 2 Victor Alpha.
Roger, thanks.
Nice. So we'll set the arrow to 2984, and that's it. We're good to go. Beautiful day to be flying out here. It's not too hot. It's showing 70 degrees right now. I find that the cockpit always feels like 10 degrees hotter, so probably around 80 or so is what it feels like on the inside. But like I said, not too bad. It could be worse. It could be 90 degrees in the Central Valley. And you know, as we get higher, it should cool off substantially, so be looking out for that. But
For 4 whiskey, thank you.
so we're about 20 minutes out.
You want your reporters here, sir? You're
Just getting a little bumpy here, you know, as the day goes on.
For sure, whenever you are turning.
Surface of the earth heats up and you get all these thermals and rising air. On top of that, we have a wind blowing out of the north there. About 13 knots at this altitude, and you know, it's kind of getting interference from all the hills in the area. So now this airplane is a light sport airplane, so it's a lot lighter than, you know, regular certified aircraft. And because of that, it gets tossed around a lot more. So really any wind at all, any sort of turbulence is going to be amplified a little bit flying this thing. You feel everything in this airplane, which, you know, when it's super bumpy out, can be a hassle sometimes. But what I like to do when I'm dealing with turbulence like this is sort of just really just try to let the airplane fly itself for the most part. And when it does start to deviate, like because we're in a left bank now, I'll put in a little bit of right aileron and fix it. But one thing you won't see me do is grab onto the controls like this really tightly and sort of ham fist it, is what they call it. But I really want to kind of avoid doing this because it could lead to an over-controlling situation where, now I'm just trying to chase this level altitude. And, if it gets a little bit more bumpy than this, I could start a pilot-induced oscillation and, just keep trying to chase that attitude. I really don't want to necessarily do that. I kind of want to let the airplane do its own thing for the beginning of it. Then as soon as it starts to deviate over, an excess amount, then I bring it back to neutral and just kind of go from there. But I guess my point being, you don't need to necessarily grab onto the controls when it gets a little bumpy. Of course, it smoothens out right as I'm trying to talk about turbulence, but I think you guys get the idea. I really like to be, even with the autopilot off, I like to try to be a hands-off sort of pilot in VFR conditions like this. Sort of, be smooth with it, be on top of your game, know what the aircraft is doing, don't fall behind, but there's no need to just grab onto it like this and be, kind of chasing the numbers and doing all of that. I mean, even with the hands off right now, we're nailed at 6,500. I just got to make minor adjustments here and there to keep it on track, and we're going on our way. So that's how I fly. That's the tip of the day. Ukiah traffic, RV2 Victor Alpha is on a right base entry for 33, full stop, Ukiah. Alright, gas undercarriage, prop. Switch switches are all on and set. Turn the flight director off now. We're within the white arc, flaps on. Flaps full. And with this height here and this much energy, I think I may be able to just hit this power off, but we'll see how the wind treats me here. The sky view is showing 16 knots, which will eventually be a headwind. I could definitely make it from here power off. I might even have to slip it a little bit. But one thing I do like about these sort of higher approaches is, you know, if you were to lose the engine, you could definitely make it to the runway. No problem.
Ukiah traffic, RB2 Victor Alpha's on final, 3-3, full stop Ukiah.
Alright, we'll start figuring out what that wind is going to do. I have to get off at the midway taxiway anyway, so I don't need to worry about, you know, really getting stopped here. If I did, then, you know, I might take a different approach to this landing, but we'll see how it's going. I'm still, you know, plenty fast. I've got a lot of energy. Looks like it decided to just fall out right there. So this might actually be a nice power off landing. See what we can do here. Added just a little bit of power just to catch it, but we were able to make the first taxiway. Yes, for some reason at the end of that runway there's always like a big sink there. I don't know why. I think it must have to do with, you know, the mechanical turbulence of just maybe the trees or something like that, but always happens. And we're clear.
Ukiah traffic, RB2 Victor Alpha is clear 3-3, taxi into the south hangars, Ukiah.
Lightning light can go to steady, flaps are up, everything else is good. Open this up a little bit. Yeah, that wasn't too bad of a flight, a little short video there for you guys. Flying the RV-12.
Message. Message. Engine speed. Oil pressure